Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of Scouting for Chelsea on Chelsea Perspective. But before we continue, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. So, let's get started. Today I have with me a very special guest and a fellow YouTuber, Awn. Awn, please take some time and introduce yourself to the fans.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on. My name is Awn. I'm a diehard Chelsea fan. As you said, I have a YouTube channel. It's Let's Talk Ball With Awn. I do videos about Chelsea match previews, sometimes reviews, doing a few videos about the Euros as well. I'm very Chelsea and can't wait to get started.
Welcome, Awn. You are. Thank you for taking the time to introduce yourself. And at the end of the show, I will make sure to leave your complete information so that the people that watched it will be able to find your channel and then check out your content. Awn, so what player did you scout, and why would you like the club to sign the player?
Okay, so first of all, the player I scouted is for the goalkeeping position. As we've heard recently, Willy Caballero has left the club, and there are also reports that Kepa might be leaving on a loan to Lazio. I'm still not sure if that's going to go through or not. And there's still another variable with Mendy leaving for the Africa Cup of Nations in January. So whatever happens, I think we need to reinforce the goalkeeping position. Now, the first player that I have in mind, his name is, I hope I pronounced this right, it's Alphonse Areola. He's a French goalkeeper. He played for Fulham this season. He was on loan at Fulham. And I think that he can do the job. He proved it in the Premier League this season. He will be going back to PSG, but the goalkeeping situation with PSG right now, I don't think he wants to stay there. And I think that if we give him a solid offer, he might want to come. We do have a very big schedule coming into next season. So usually second choice goalkeepers are hard to buy, but going into next season, we're competing in the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Club World Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup. So we're going to have a lot of games, and there's also a month in the Premier League that the second keeper has to fill. So I think it's going to be interesting and easier to lure in a second goalkeeper.
That's a very good observation there. Yes, I agree with you. We do really need to sign a goalkeeper, even if Kepa happens to stay and not go out on loan to Lazio. It's still important that we have a second goalkeeper, given, as you mentioned, Willy Caballero will be leaving the club, and Mendy will most definitely leave for AFCON come January. So we need reinforcement in that area. So what can you please make us understand why you picked Alfonso? How did you pronounce his last name again?
Areola.
Alphonse Areola. Hopefully we're not murdering his name here, but that's by the way. Why did you pick him, and why? What are his stats, and why did you think he'd be a good signing for Chelsea? Should we sign him?
Now, going into this, the goalkeeper position has evolved a lot over the years. If you look back at 10 years ago, maybe the goalkeeper was only tasked with just saving the ball, nothing else.
Yeah.
But the more the game has evolved, the goalkeeper now has to be good on his feet. And right now, the new crop of goalkeepers coming in are being trained to do so, but the experienced goalkeepers, not entirely. We have a lot of shot stoppers still and not a lot of good keepers on the ball. I chose Areola because I think he had a good season with Fulham. Yes, they did get relegated, but I think he was one of their better players this season. And I think that I have a few stats. I've got them off of FBref. I think that's the name of the website. Is that he started 36 games and he got 9 clean sheets. Now, 9 clean sheets is a decent amount of clean sheets, given that it is a relegation side after all. there is a slight disadvantage with him, is that he is slightly error prone. He had 2 errors that led to goal, but that's something he can definitely work on. And his save percentage is actually quite well. He has a 73% save percentage, 116 saves overall. This is in the league. Now, comparing him to Mendy, Mendy played 31 games in the league and he had 16 clean sheets, which is amazing. And Mendy had a save percentage of 71%, but he faced less shots, which is expected at a club like Chelsea. He had 57 saves, which is also a decent number of saves. It's not anything to say about Mendy because he had less saves. It's because he faced less shots because Chelsea have a solid structure of defense in their team. And I think Areola will definitely benefit from that. But there's something I want to highlight, because when I saw this number,
Yes.
I was completely amazed, is that in the Champions League, Mendy had a save percentage of 91%. That just blew my mind when I saw it. It's one of the highest numbers I've seen.
Yeah.
Now, going into the passing, which is something that I wanted to highlight for this goalkeeper, Areola had 73.6% pass completion. He attempted 1,000 passes and he completed 736. Out of those, we had short passes. His short passes, 221 passes attempted, all of them were completed. Medium range passes, 254 attempted and 251 completed, as well as long passes, 509 attempted and 248 completed. Compared to Mendy, Mendy had very similar numbers to his on this aspect, and I think Mendy is a very good keeper on the ball. So from these numbers, I'm usually not the biggest fan of stats, but these do help draw a picture on the keeper, is that he has very similar numbers compared to Mendy. Mendy had 99% short passes, 99% medium passes, and 59% long passes. These are just about the same number percentages for Areola in those aspects. And I think that he proved that he can play on the ball. He just needs a bigger stage to show it right now.
Yeah, and you can actually argue if he plays in a better team, he will face less shots than he did at Fulham. And you could say Fulham is more like you should resign him. You could say Fulham, they play good football actually. They like to play from the back to it. Yeah, on occasions. Yeah, you could say that they were unlucky to have been relegated because they played quite well. And most of the games they lost, they played really well. Just, things weren't working out for them that much because sometimes you need a bit of a luck to win games. So overall, would you say he's better than K.R.C?
Yes. Overall, he is. I think their passing is somewhat of the same, but stopping shots, Areola is the better keeper over there. We saw Kepa, he had a bit of a confidence issue over the last few years. As much as I like him, I think he needs a good run of games to gain that confidence back. So I think a loan would be best suited for him right now. So I do think that Areola overall could be a better keeper right now than Kepa. I do think so.
Wow, I wasn't actually paying attention to his stats, but it's amazing actually. He's not actually far from Mendy, you would argue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to draw the conclusion because Mendy played more games and in the Champions League and such.
I understand. Yeah. Given that Mendy played more games and he played less games, it's not far from him statistics-wise.
From the stats, it's definitely not that far off, but there are sometimes things in stats that don't show, is that I think Areola sometimes might not be the calmest in situations. That's something he has to work on. But looking at Chelsea, I mean, we have such a good organized structure in defense, is that might not be a big problem. His stats are very good this season and his performance on the eye test as well. I think he should be the keeper we're looking at for this position.
Very well said, and hopefully the powers that be at Chelsea will get to see this video, and maybe they're already looking at him. We don't know because Chelsea likes to do their business under the radar. So other than Areola, like hopefully we're not murdering his name. My apologies if I did. Do you have any other goalkeeper in mind? Because we still have time, we can squeeze in one more goalkeeper there.
Another keeper I have in mind. Now, this is one for the future, if you'd like to put it that way. He's 19 years old. He's from Belgium. Again, I'm sorry if I murder his name right now. It's Vandevoordt. I hope I said that right. He plays for Genk. Now, Genk, I don't know if you remember, we signed Courtois and De Bruyne. They produce very good talents. And looking at him, now, I do not have a lot of stats on him because it is a small sample size. He hasn't played at the senior level for a lot of games, so I don't have any stats on him. But from what I've seen,
I have to say you're beginning to sound like a scientist now, where sample size matters a lot when you're doing the research. But go ahead, my friend. I enjoy that. I enjoy statistics a lot. Listening to it, not. I don't dive into it, but I like listening to it. Go ahead.
I would agree with you on that part. I love listening to it, but sometimes doing the entire process is very hard. I agree with
not
that.
Me. Go ahead, my brother.
Small sample size because he hasn't played a lot on the senior level. But from what I've seen, because he's young and because it's becoming more in demand and more of a necessity for a goalkeeper to be good on his feet, with his feet, is that this keeper has been trained to do so. He is as good with his hands as he is with his feet. And he has a save percentage of, this is one stat that I could get, of 75% save percentage from the games that he played.
For a 19-year-old.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, honestly.
Yes.
And this is definitely one for the future. We have to keep an eye out for him. Maybe not this season, but 2, 3, 4 years down the line, this could be a name of a top goalkeeper in the future.
I've got to say you did some research there. That's not easy. Okay, between the two goalkeepers, do you by any chance have their transfer value?
I'm gonna give you a rough estimation because you never know how clubs react to that. Is that with Areola, I think he wants to push for a move away from PSG. They have a lot of good goalkeepers, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of rotation over there. So I do think we're looking at a price range of maybe 20 to 30 million. I don't know. That's a rough estimate. I'm not sure about
for
that.
Both?
No, for Areola.
Okay.
Yeah. And now here's where it gets tricky. Because he is a young goalkeeper, they may have to raise their value for Vandevoordt. He hasn't played a lot, but you know how many times for a young goalkeeper, for any young player with a lot of potential, whenever a club decides to sell, they always raise the price to what his value could be in 5 years, not right now. So I'd say right now, based on his experience, his value would be at around 10 million. But to sign him, we're going to have to add another maybe 10, 20 million to that. You never know. I'm not really good with those numbers, but this is just a rough estimate. It's definitely within range for the club. It could be cheaper. We know how the club works. They do know how to do negotiations. Whenever you see a reported figure, whenever the deal is done, it's usually less by 20 million with the club.
Props to Marina, by the way, for that.
100%. Yeah, because whenever a transfer saga starts, you hear the price of maybe 90 million or something. And then when we sign the player, we've signed him for 60 million plus a few add-ons. So it's always nice to see that. And I think definitely we can lower that price, but this is just a rough estimate. I'm not entirely sure on how much it'll be.
Yeah, thank you. At least you did some research on it, and thank you for taking the time to talk about the potential transfer value should the club, if Chelsea want to sign them. So that's, by the way, which of the two goalkeepers do you think Chelsea could would you say, which of them do you think could possibly or would possibly join Chelsea should Chelsea make a move for both?
This is where it gets interesting. Interesting because we might be able to do both. You never know. Sign them both and send Vandevoordt on loan so that he could get more playtime at the senior level. I think right now, for this transfer window, Areola is going to be much more likely than Vandevoordt. I think Vandevoordt is something that the club might be looking at maybe 2-3 years down the line.
Awn, thank you very much again. I appreciate you taking the time to scout for Chelsea Football Club. Unfortunately, this is a pro bono job that you just did, and but we enjoy it. And the two goalkeepers you talked about, they both make perfect sense. Each especially Areola, who's had a Premier League experience, and his stats, like we agreed, isn't far off from that of Mendy. And then with a better defense and a better team structure, I think he will do even better. So hopefully, like we said before, the powers that be at Chelsea will take some time, look at him, and see that he will actually be a good signing for the club. And Awn, please take some time again, plugging yourself, tell the fans social media platforms where you have presence so they can go check you out. And I advise you to please go check out his content. Awn knows football, especially when it comes to Chelsea. He's very passionate about the club. I've watched his videos, and I'm still following him. I'm subscribed to his channel. And whenever he uploads a new video, I'm allotted and I don't miss any. So I advise you go do the same. Awn, again, take some time and plug in yourself again.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very happy to do research for Chelsea and all that scouting for Chelsea. I'm always happy to talk about this club. I'm very passionate about it. I do trust the club's recruitment, so I know that there are a lot of other options, and I trust that whoever they sign is going to be 100% a perfect fit. You can find me on Twitter @BallWithAwn. You can find me on YouTube, Let's Talk Ball with Awn. I do videos for Chelsea, as I said. I'm doing some videos about the Euros, looking to expand further later on. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm always open on improving and adding stuff to my channel. Please always send me whatever you want. And thank you so much for having me on. I am very happy to be here, and I'm always very happy to talk about Chelsea.
Thank you very much again for taking the time to tell the fans how they can find your content. And again, I advise you to go check out his content. I promise you will not be disappointed. Awn, again, it's a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to having you again soon.
It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you.